Guys, Tornado Dude 448 here, and welcome back to another video. This time I'm doing a 2018-2019 U.S. winter forecast, the finalized version. Without further ado, let's get right to synopsis. El Nino is favored. The El Nino Southern Oscillation, or ENSO discussion. El Nino is favored to form in the next two to 3 months and continue through the Northern Hemisphere 2018 to 2019 winter season. 70 to 75% chance of that occurring. We are under an El Nino watch as of the initial ENSO discussion issuance on October 11th. ENSO neutral conditions are continued during September, with increasingly more widespread regions of above average sea surface temperatures, or SSTs, across the equatorial Pacific Ocean. Over the last month, all four El Nino index values increased, with the latest weekly values in each region near plus or minus 0.7 degrees Celsius. Positive subsurface temperature, or SST anomalies, average across positive subsurface temperature anomalies, average across 180 to 100 degrees west, also increased during the last month due to the expansion and strengthening of above average temperatures at depth across the equatorial Pacific. Convection was increasingly suppressed over Indonesia and around the international dateline. Low-level westerly wind anomalies were evident over the western and east central Pacific, with some of the strongest anomalies occurring over the eastern Pacific during the past week before issuance. Upper-level wind anomalies were easterly over the east central Pacific. Overall, the oceanic and atmospheric conditions reflected ENSO neutral, but with recent trends indicative of a developing El Nino. The majority of models in the International Research Institute, or IRI, for Climate and Society and the Climate Prediction Center, or CPC, predict El Nino to form during the fall and continue through the winter. The official forecast here is the formation of a weak El Nino, consistent with the recent strengthening of westerly wind anomalies and positive temperature trends in the surface and subsurface ocean. In summary, El Nino is favored to form in the next couple months and continue through the Northern Hemisphere winter 2018-19. Again, 70 to 75% chance of that occurring. Above left. So to the left, so on the image to the left, we have sea surface temperature anomalies in degrees Celsius. The area in which we are concerned is the West Central Pacific all the way to the Eastern Pacific. And then another area of concern is right off the coast of Baja California, Mexico. Sea surface temperature anomalies are 2 to 3 degrees Celsius above average, based on the 30-year period from 1981 to 2010. Above right, a graph of the sea surface temperature anomalies. Niño 4, November to mid-April 2017 to mid-April to April 2018, they peaked below average, but they mainly peaked below average with a little above average peak in November. From mid-April to about October 2018, up to about last month, they peaked above average, like up to almost a full degree above average. Niño 3.4, below average from November 2017 to very late May 2018. Above average from June to October, up to just over 0.6 of a degree above average. Niño 3, it peaks below average. Lowest is about minus 1.5 degrees, but minus 1.5 degrees from average. And then from very late May all the way through October, it peaks above average up to 0.6 of a degree. with a little below average peaks from early August and early and very late August. Niño 1 plus 2, they mainly peaked below average throughout the entire November 2017 to October 2018 period. But there were some peaks above average in March, late August, mid-August, mid-September, and October, peaking about 0.6 of a degree above average. ENSO images continue from slide 3. Above left is a graph of the upper ocean heat anomalies for longitudes 180 to 100 west in degrees Celsius. This black line about late February, from late October 2017 to late February 2018, upper ocean heat anomalies peaked between about about 0.1 of a degree below average to about a whole degree below average. And from late February on, equatorial upper ocean heat anomalies varied from near average to near a full degree and a half above average. I'm going to erase this black line. Equatorial subsurface temperature anomalies degrees Celsius, 130 east to 80 west. This is I'm going to circle the area of most concern. And then in orange, I'm going to circle the area of way higher than normal concern. So in the red circled area, anomalies will range, subsea surface temperature anomalies in degrees Celsius will range from 1 degree above average to 4 degrees above average. And in the orange circled area, temperatures anomalies will range from 2 degrees Celsius above average to near 6 above average. ENSO images continue from slides 3 and 4. OLR anomalies, those are that's outgoing long wave radiation anomalies from September 10th to October 5th. So for those anomalies, dark red is greater than 40 degrees above average. Lighter red is 30 to 40. Dark orange 20 to 30. Yellow orange 10 to 20. White 10 to minus 10. Light blue minus 10 to minus 20, and so on. And then the IRI CPC models. And then it peaks about, I'd say about 1.4 degrees above average. And also, I'd say a 1/10 or 2 of a degree above average. These are model predictions of ENSO from September 2018 onward. 2018 image, El Nino 2018 image. This chart shows the forecast of climatological probability and chart of La Nina, ENSO neutral, and El Nino conditions. The mean probability of an El Nino in the winter 2018-19 season, 70 to 75%. Peaks about 70%. El Nino. However, climatological only peaks about 40. Now we get into the interesting stuff, the outlooks and forecasts. The western U.S. and the parts of the desert Southwest and the Gulf Coast states will see above average temperatures this month, most so from southern Oregon and the parts of southern and western Texas. The Midwest and into New England and parts of the southeast and east coast regions will see below average temperatures this month, most so from eastern North Dakota to the upper peninsula of Michigan and parts of northern Wisconsin, and the rest of the U.S. will see equal chances for near, above, or below average temperatures. Next month, December 2018, western U.S., particularly from Washington State, parts of northern Idaho, and parts of northern Idaho to much of Arizona, and as well as parts of southern New Mexico and southwest Texas, above average. We'll see above average temps, most so for parts of northern California, northwest Nevada, and much of Washington State and Oregon. Upper Midwest and the parts of the Midwest and the Ohio Valley and Southeast, as well as the Great Lakes and Mid-Atlantic and New England, will see below average temperatures, most so for far eastern North Dakota and almost all of Minnesota and much of Iowa, as well as the Great Lakes and western New England and much of western and central Pennsylvania. The rest of the U.S. will see equal chances for near, above, or below average temperatures. February 2019. Parts of the western U.S. and northwest North Dakota, as well as parts of southwest Texas, will be above average in terms of temperature, most so for far northwest Montana and much of the western half of Idaho, into northwest Nevada, northern parts of central California, and all of Washington State and Oregon. That and right there is a typo. I clearly apologize for that. Eastern U.S. below average, most so for northeast Minnesota, almost all of Wisconsin and into northern Kentucky, much of West Virginia, and into much of New England. The rest of the U.S. will see equal chances for near, above, or below average temperatures. What else to watch for this month? Potential western trough to eastern ridge of pressure, which may cause a mid-January thaw for parts of the northern tier of the U.S. So you may want to be on the lookout for that and feel the temperature virtually every day before work, school, or before you go outside, or anything like that. February 2019, that temperature outlook. February of 2019, it's of the most interest. Western U.S., particularly from far western Montana and almost all of Idaho southeastward into much of New Mexico and southwest Texas, will see above average temperatures, most so from much of Washington State and Oregon into far northern California and far northwest Nevada. Much of the central and eastern U.S., as well as the southeast and New England, will see below average temperatures, most so from central North Dakota into northern Tennessee and far southeastern New Jersey. Frequent Arctic cold intrusions for parts of eastern North Dakota into much of Iowa, as well as areas from the Great Lakes into New England. The worst of the cold, however, will be in areas from a sliver of far northeast North Dakota into much of Minnesota and northeast Iowa into the Great Lakes and much of New England. Rest of the U.S. equal chances for near, above, or below average temperatures. What else to watch for in February 2019? Frequent Arctic cold intrusions will occur for parts of eastern North Dakota and much of Iowa, as well as areas from the Great Lakes into New England. The brunt of the cold will be in areas from a sliver of far northeast North Dakota into much of Minnesota and northeast Iowa into the Great Lakes and much of New England. Precipitation outlook full season. western Montana into Idaho and Washington State and Oregon, as well as a sliver of far northern portions of Nevada and California will see below average precipitation. Most snow for areas from far western Montana into much of the western half of Idaho, Washington State, and almost all of Oregon. A sliver of far northeast North Dakota into much of Minnesota, parts of eastern Iowa, and parts of the Great Lakes will see below average temperatures. Most snow for areas from eastern and northern Minnesota into northeast Iowa, into parts of the Great Lakes that below average for the first two regions. Much of the southern U.S. and Ozark Mountains northeastward into the mid-Atlantic states and New England will see above average precipitation. Most snow from southern Texas and the Gulf Coast states and the southern portions of Maryland and Delaware. The rest of the U.S. will see equal chances for near, above, or below average precipitation this season. Now, below average does not mean you won't see any snow or rain. Just means you'll see less of it, less than average. And above average does not mean you'll see a lot of snow or rain either. You'll just see more than average, not a whole lot. Snowfall outlook full season. Much of the western U.S. will see below average snow. That does not mean you'll see less snow. That does not mean you'll see 0 inches of snow. It just means you'll see less of it than average. Most so for western and central Montana and northwest Utah and much of Nevada, as well as much of California. We'll see the most below average snowfall this season. Southern and eastern Texas into the southeast and the mid-Atlantic states and New England will see above average snowfall. Most so from southeast Louisiana into Florida and the Florida Panhandle into the mid-Atlantic states and eastern portions of New England. That does not mean you'll see like a massive boatload of snow. It just means you'll see more than average. The rest of the U.S. will see equal chances for near, above, or below average snowfall. Overall forecast image. The northwest U.S. will see warmer than normal and dry conditions, while the rest of the western U.S. and the far southwest Texas will be slightly warmer than average with near to above average rainfall. Parts of the southern U.S. will be a winter battle zone. They can see various types of precipitation, including rain, snow, sleet, and ice events. Northeast Alabama and southeast Tennessee and much of the Carolinas region will see slightly above average snowfall. New England will be very cold and have frequent snow events. Coastal areas of that region, especially those along the Great Lakes, may see above average lake effect snow this season. Far southern portions of the deep south and southeast and all of Florida will be mostly wet, but some snow is still a possibility. Parts of the mid-Atlantic states will be snowy and cold. Some large midwinter snowstorms are possible. Eastern portions of Montana and Wyoming into western portions of the Great Lakes will see very cold conditions with near to slightly below average snowfall. The remainder of the U.S. will see a near average winter. Elsewhere, in areas that slightly below average to above average snow as mentioned, big snow events still cannot be completely ruled out. This image contradicts what I just said. Typical winter temperatures and wet for Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. The Pacific Northwest, in other words, portions of the West and portions of the West, California, especially California, Nevada, Utah, and Arizona, will see mild temperatures and average precipitation. A huge chunk of the central U.S. into the plains, into Minnesota, Iowa, and Missouri, will see teeth-chattering cold and plentiful snowfall. The southern U.S. is particularly if you live in New Mexico, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, or Louisiana, you'll see cold temperatures and average precipitation. Portions of the Great Lakes could be biting cold and snowy, as well as the portions of the far northern Tennessee and Ohio valleys. Near the southeast, so particularly from Alabama all the way to the Virginias, will see near normal winter temperatures and wet conditions. A small part of the mid-Atlantic will be chilly and have frequent wintry mixes. The Northeast will be cold and very snowy. That's what the cold and white means. Pacific, Farmers Almanac 2018 to 2019 winter for forecast. The Farmers Almanac Zone Cast is what I'm calling it for this video. The Pacific Northwest will see average winter temperatures and wet conditions. The Southwest and parts of the Rockies will see mild temps and average temperatures and average precipitation. The South Central U.S., particularly the states of New Mexico, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana, will see sea cold and temperatures and average precipitation. The Southeast will see near average temperatures and wet conditions. The Great Lakes into the northern Tennessee Valley will see biting cold and snowy conditions. The Plains and Midwest will see teeth-charting cold and plentiful snow. This means frequent events and may mean frequent and possibly snowstorms. Northeast U.S. will see cold and snowy conditions, much like the Great Lakes and northern Tennessee Valley. Real teeth chattering cold will arrive. The Farmer's Almanac says the real teeth chattering cold will arrive in mid-February of next year, especially in New England as well as the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Midwest, and Southeast. During this time of night, the cold front will produce blustery and bitter winds, a sharp drop in temperature, and widespread snow showers and squall activity along and ahead of the frontal line. The Farmer's Almanac, which bases its amazingly accurate long-range forecast on a mathematical and astronomical formula developed in 1818, about 200 years ago, is also predicting above normal precipitation, which means lots of snow for the Great Lakes states, Midwest, and central and northern New England, with most of it falling in January and February. At a glance, colder than normal conditions are predicted from the continental divide eastward through the Appalachian Mountains. Above normal snowfall is predicted for the Great Lakes, Midwest, New England, and the Pacific Northwest. Frigid weather is expected in mid-February, which may also bring blustery and bitter winds and widespread snow showers, especially in the Northeast, Appalachians, and the Atlantic corridor regions of the United States. Winter will hang on with stormy conditions up through the official start of spring, especially for the East Coast states. What else does the Farmer's Almanac predict? The Farmer's Almanac also forecasts an unusually snowy and/or wet winter across the Pacific Northwest, Northeast, and Mid-Atlantic states. In these regions, the thermometer will be hovering just above or just below the freezing mark, which most of you should know is 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, which means some of the precipitation may fall as either ice, rain, regular rain, or freezing rain. Above normal precipitation is also forecast for the Southwest region during December 2019. December 2019. December 2018. Sorry, I meant to type 2018, but instead I put a 9 instead of the 8. I clearly apologize for that. And for the Southeast in January and February 2019, the remainder of the nation will see closer to normal snow amounts, although as the 2019 Farmers Almanac suggests, a stormier than normal March could push snow totals to above normal over the northern and central Rockies and Plains. Significant snows are also predicted for parts of every region of the United States. Mid-March can be stormy virtually from coast to coast, bringing snow, sleet, and/or rain, as well as strong gusty winds to many areas. In particular, the Farmer's Almanac is red flagging March 20 to 23rd, 2019, for a potent East Coast storm that could deliver a wide variety of winter precipitation, just as we're making the transition into spring. So regardless of what Groundhog Phil says in February, you'll know that winter isn't going anywhere anytime soon. How accurate is this? Based on the YouTube videos I watched about this winter and their forecasts, as well as discussions from outside sources, I say that that confidence is a maximum of 80 to 85% accurate, or in the high category. And I credit I credit Surfline.com, the Climate Prediction Center, the Farmers Almanac, and YouTube videos by Hurricane and Winter Tracker and MBGC Combo. I'll put their links down in the description below. If you like this video and any of my other content, please consider liking the video, commenting, and subscribing, as that would more subscriptions would help my channel grow from 27 subscribers. From 27 or 28 subscribers. So, anyways, I hope to see all you people in the next video. Bye bye.